But that being said, I was thinking about now in the segue into our next topic. You're talking about your grandfather there, and you're talking about wrestlers and how they have to go on the road to get to through the different companies to be able to go as fans to go watch in sports arenas. Generally, we're driving, right?
Yes.
And to be able to get there, we have to go into a car. And the way things are going right now in the world, the cost of filling up our cars to go to the sports game is more expensive than the ticket itself. So, Zach, my question to you as the money man is as follows. Is the dream dead as far as sports cars go, as far as having the big trucks, those gas guzzlers? Is this the final straw? Is electrical cars, are we going to, for the people that have held off, I know people have embraced the technology, people said it's still in its infancy, there's not enough charging stations, etc. But is there no choice now? Is it come to the point now, do you feel in society that everybody's going to go electrical car?
Well, if it's not now, it's coming soon, right? And the one problem is exactly what you just said. There's not enough charging stations, right? And for a lot of people, to remember to plug your car in every night, I can guarantee not everybody's going to do it, right? I'm on the electric car bandwagon.
Oh, you are?
I am. My next car will be electric.
Okay.
There are so many benefits to it. If you put aside just the money, better for the environment, right?
Right.
Better for our natural resources, right? Electric cars, they're made out of copper, at least the battery is for the majority material, right? And so there's so much better opportunity with it. Not to mention, you own electric vehicles right now, you get so many tax subsidies.
Really, eh?
Oh yeah, so many benefits. People are writing off, I have clients that buy Teslas, and obviously I'm not an accountant, don't hold me to it, anybody. No. But I'm working with their accountants, I know that they have so many tax advantages. And so, I'm looking in that direction, definitely moving forward.
Yes.
That being said,
yes,
with anything, where you're a super fan of anything, especially with sports cars, the dream will still be alive. Will it cost you more? Absolutely. But if you are the type of person to have the 70s Mustang sitting in your garage, just waiting to go on the street and rev that engine,
tell me more.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking your language, then the dream will still be there. They're not going to get rid of gas, and it'll be years and years and years before we make that full transition. But yes.
Yeah, because they're talking right now that they're going to bring back the Tesla Roadster. That's going to happen. You're going to have the Tesla sports car at a cost of approximately $200,000 for the starting point. Good luck for most people. 90% of the population, at least, is not buying that. That's not going to happen.
Okay, but you have to remember, and that's the thing, right? It's not $200,000 because of the tax advantages that they have to it. First of all, it's an expensive vehicle. Don't get me wrong. It's a luxury vehicle, right?
Yes.
Not to name names of any cars, but I'm a Chevy guy. Right, that's what I've driven. That's what I like. I like Chevys, right? Yep. So, is it a Chevy? No, it is more of a luxury vehicle. But you go out there and you lay out $200,000, and you have to lay out to buy a charging station in your house too, right? Long term, is it going to save you more money, especially with these gas prices? But when you have these tax advantages, it's not really $200,000, right? It's $200,000 to start, and then what are you going to get back from the government?
So there's tax advantages to it. I tell people, again, it kind of come full circle on this thing, because we started talking about cottages. Yeah. We talked about business plans and how you're going to run it. I think people should think of their car as an enterprise. And at the end of the day, for most of us, we're not Ubering or renting it out. There are services out there now where you can rent out your car when you're not using it, but probably not doing that. So even if you're using it, what is the business plan? How much does it cost to acquire the car? How much does it cost to maintain the car? Because we're talking as well about gas. Well, you have a Tesla, you're not changing your oil, right?
No.
And they're talking now that in the next, I think it's 3 years, they're going to have airless tires. So now you'll never have to change your tire. That's a big thing. Besides safety, it's also the cost of it as well. So, but I know for myself, like I've been very resistant, and it just wasn't my thing, because I grew up on muscle cars, and that's just where my brain is at, And the thought of having an electrical car that's replicating the sound of it, to me, I shudder at it. As a purist, I can't accept that yet, but maybe I will one day. But if you actually go sit in a Tesla, any Tesla, literally, it's like an iPhone on wheels. Like, holy crap. Like, it is literally like driving an iPhone with the giant iPad. Yeah. And really, it's not even about a car anymore. It's just like an app. It's a giant app that's driving you. It's freaking cool.
No, being in that cockpit is absolutely insane. The car drives itself. You don't even need to be in it.
Elon Musk, anytime, he's welcome on The Chosen Life. And we can talk about anything he likes.
Of course.
Because it is freaking cool, And as far as being revolutionary and everything else is what he's doing, like, I see where he's headed, and he wants to share the technology, and he's talked about that, and as far as encouraging others, because at the end of the day, if we have that infrastructure that if I'm not saying electrical is right or wrong, but if people are on board with it and all the car companies are on it and the charging stations come up and it becomes easier and easier, you know, they're talking about condominium units in parking, because if you live in a condo building and doesn't have charging stations, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Being able to install charging stations, making it more green friendly.
Yeah.
So there could be a lot of options out there as far as people to go electric. Where I'm seeing the game changing, and they've rumored it for so many years, the Apple car. You bring an Apple car, it's over. All the Apple fanboys and fangirls that are walking around with their iPhones and their MacBooks and iPads, they're going to be having the car equivalent. It's done as far as I'm concerned. That would be to me if it ever happens.
Yeah, if it ever happens. That's a big question. You know, consider yourself Elon Musk. Okay? You are Elon Musk. Mm-hmm. Biggest electric car on the road right now, Tesla, right? Everybody knows that. Apple announces that they're going to create a brand new car, right? It's going to run on Siri. And you're going to have Apple Play like most cars do right now, but the car is going to be completely interactive. And I'm Elon Musk, who's currently the richest man in the world, right? I am buying that division of Apple. I am 100% buying it because I do not want that competition. And if I get that, then I have a monopoly over all electric vehicles. But on the same token, it takes a lot to build a car and to get into the car marketplace, right? We've seen it with not electric, with gas vehicles, you know, combustion engines for 50 years almost, right? It's a very, very competitive industry. So it'll be nice because it is new, right? The whole electric industry, it's in its infancy really still. So being able to see who's going to come in and take over, you know, maybe even Tesla, that'll be very interesting. But I don't know. We'll have to see what Apple does.
You know, it's funny, you know, in business, and you know, we hear a lot about successes, especially with celebrities and companies and all the right stuff they did. Like when Google went off and bought YouTube, you know, they're geniuses. That's it. But how many opportunities did they have that they don't talk about? You know, I always bring up Magic Johnson, and Magic Johnson, the basketball player, you know, and he has all the Starbucks in LA. Like they actually came to him and he was the ambassador, and they allowed him to become a franchisee, and he owns Starbucks all over LA, and he's laughing all the way to the bank. Shaquille O'Neal was the one that was approached before Magic Johnson, and Shaq is known to endorse everything. Shaq has bought into companies. Shaq is a bazillionaire. Shaq is doing really well. We don't cry for Shaq.
No.
But Shaq had the opportunity to take the Starbucks gig before Magic Johnson, and he said, you know what, I don't think people in LA are going to be drinking coffee, so I'm not doing it. So he said it a little differently, but I'm going to keep the clean version of it.
Of course.
But Shaq said at the end of the day, no, I think it's foolish. I don't want to be a part of this. So Starbucks said, fine. They went to Magic. Magic's like, yes, please. And Magic is laughing all the way to the bank. Why am I bringing this up? Because, you know, I had it in my head, and you brought up the reverse, the idea of Elon Musk buying up the competition. Well, Apple had the opportunity to buy Tesla at one point at their low point. How much are they kicking themselves now? Imagine, because like you're saying, it is so hard to prepare and produce your own product from scratch. Imagine they could have taken the Apple software and the infrastructure, put that, and it had Tesla. They would have been now unstoppable. Did they make a blunder by doing that in your estimation? Have you thought about that?
Hindsight's always 20/20,
Always.
right? But another thing that you have to remember, especially in these types of industries, right? The majority of what's going on is up here, right? And the people who are behind these products, right? You know, the Nikolai Teslas of the world, right? Who are just able to develop all of this, you know, IT to begin with, right? And to engineer the products themselves. So you have to think about locking in the competition in a sense too, and locking in your best employees before making these purchases. And it's not an option for everybody, right? There's a lot of people out there, and we've seen it with many different companies. You know, look at Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, where you have the CEOs of these major companies who are now jumping ship and going to other startups per se. And, you know, look at Snapchat. Snapchat was a startup, right?
Right.
And now look at it, right? And Twitter's the same thing, right?
Like how smart was Facebook to go and acquire Instagram, you know, to go acquire WhatsApp?
Exactly. They were very smart, but you have to lock these people's minds up, right? Otherwise, they're just, you know, all it takes is one person to go somewhere else, start a new company, and now they're the next big deal.
In my mind, it's you can go, and if you buy everything up, yeah, great. If you have unlimited money, but you don't have unlimited money.
Yes.
So you're seeing these successful companies doing successful things. Yes. You know, Nike losing Kanye. and Kanye going to Adidas,
Yeah.
Adidas would have been screwed without Kanye pretty much, and Kanye saved them and brought them up with the Yeezys. But Nike could have kept him, but they made that decision at the same time. But what if Kanye would have flopped? What if if Adidas would have put all that money into him? And let's say it didn't take the way it did, they could have been bankrupt. So people only see the good part of it, but you have to make the decision as a business person. Yeah, like you said, hindsight's 2020. So for every, one great or two great decisions we can make 5 blunders, and not every company can afford those blunders. So they avoid those blunders, and at that same token, they may miss the hit. They may miss the success.
Of course. And they are also anticipating cancel culture too, right? Like you have to look into that and say, all of these executives who are like, okay, we're putting all of our eggs in one basket, and that person is Kanye West, right? And not to say that I have anything against Kanye, right? I don't even know the guy. But all it takes is for him to say one thing wrong, and then everything goes down.
He said 100 things at least, and he's still going, but it's because it's Kanye. Only he can get away with it.
Well, exactly. How many people can do that?
Right. Most can't. And one thing is said, and you're done.
Yeah.
And people kind of forget about that. And it's amazing, at the end of the day, how you set yourself up as a business, and, you try to make a game plan, you try to bring people on, but again, stuff may not hit. That's just the reality of it. And, people come to me all the time and they tell me, oh my God, if I would have gone and bought Tesla stock 5 years ago. Well, you didn't, because they could have easily gone belly up, and a lot of electrical startups came and went. Fisker was a big one.
Yes.
Fisker was a beautiful car, well ahead of its time. Fisker could have easily been Tesla, but things did not hit for them, and then they got bought out, and then they had to restart again. Tesla could have easily done that. So that's where people are saying, like, you know what?
You have to time things, and that's exactly right.
And that's how it is in the business world. And business world, stocks, real estate, it's all about timing at the end of the day. Thank you for enjoying today's episode of the Chosen Life podcast. Go ahead and hit the subscription button below and the notification bell to catch all of our great shows. And remember to contact the Chosen Lawyers when you are ready for your next real estate and commercial transaction. Go to kormans.ca.